1. Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2. Get some good, some food in you. Step 3. Think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4. Fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2. Get some good, some food in you. Step 3. Think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Help the Americans first! We need real help here in America!
We want to save America, and we surely believe that Donald Trump is the way to save America.
We need Donald J. Trump in office! For 2024, baby!
It's all about documenting the experience of being a front row Joe.
Bringing prosperity back to America, Mr. Trump.
It's about getting America and American people back to work.
We need Trump back into office. Why? Because corruption has infiltrated Washington, D.C. President Biden is ruling us blind so we are dependent. We need to bring money back to the Americans' pocket.
It's about making sure mom and dad can have one job and spend time with their children instead of allowing our education department to raise our children.
If you guys don't know, Donald Trump will be here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Need lower taxes, lower gas. We need to close our border. Shut off the fentanyl coming into our country and kill children. We're not opposed to helping others. We're just saying America first. We're into all Americans. We want all Americans to be prosperous, and right now we've got a corrupt country.
If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't be here. I can promise you that.
Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. So
This is Layla Santanello. She has been missing since June 27th, 2023, and she disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee. Chronicles of Olivia and I went out to Kingsport, Tennessee on several different trips, searching for Layla Santanello or any information leading to her whereabouts. These are my thoughts on this case.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I was hoping by now we would have found Layla. So this has been very hard. You know, we want to bring her home. We want to make sure that her family knows what happened to her, I think is really the most important. Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. Just like to speak to them just for a moment and just say, if you know something, say something, because her life does matter. For the family members of these people that know what happened to her, it could have been your daughter. It could have been your granddaughter. You need to ask them to stand up and speak up.
Once the new evidence came to light, Sheriff Gaylor was adamant that we needed to inform our community as soon as possible.
These were just a few words that the chief of police said at a press conference related to Rachel Morin, which went missing August 5th. However, she was found a day later, bludgeoned to death. Rachel Morin, mother of 5, often found comfort in being outdoors and working out. This was no different August 5th, around 6 p.m. when she went to the Maupassant Heritage Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. Nobody really knows what happened on that trail, but whatever it is, it was really horrible. A teenage girl found her body the next day during search efforts. The horrific scene only can be what is left to imagination.
Her death has grabbed local, state, national, and international headlines.
DNA was located at the scene of the crime.
DNA evidence is part of nearly every modern-day investigation, and in Rachel's case, DNA evidence was collected by our Forensic Services Unit. This DNA evidence has come back as a match, tied to a home invasion and an assault of a young girl in Los Angeles this past March.
This is the first time that we heard of an assailant associated with her case.
Unfortunately, that suspect has not been positively identified, but he did leave behind his DNA. In the video we obtained from the Los Angeles Police Department to be the person that murdered Rachel Morin on August 5th.
Rachel, mother of 5, died a brutal death. Can you help?
And the tip line number is 410-836-7788.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. my beautiful people of YouTube? I'm not going to have great lighting because I am in office 2 where I was yesterday and now today. I had to take a break yesterday. I threw some videos up. We're going to go over a couple of them. I got the Betty for President TikTok up and running. So we're going to show you our first video, our first political video on our political side. And hopefully everybody enjoys it. It's nice to see you, Manic Mama T, first in chat to say good morning to Betty. And chat, it's nice to see you, followed by our beautiful Guidance. Jewel is up in the house. The Real Me Too. D, Little Miss South. It's nice to see you, my love. Our beautiful Sonia is up in the house, followed by Casper. It's nice to see you all in here this morning. Athena, good morning. It's nice to see you, Sweetie Pie. JB's mama, it's nice to see you as well. Haley Ryan, good morning, Love Bug. Cool Gamer is up in the house. Changed his thumbnail. It's nice to see you. L, nice to see you. Love Lakers. It's nice to see you. Margaret, good morning. Lori Lowe. I didn't write you back, did I? You hit me on the road. I'm awful. Lady 7 Up, I'll get back to you today, love. Lady 7 Up, good morning. Good morning. Old Rusty's up in the house. It's nice to see you, Old Rusty, followed by It's Me, Jen. Good morning, love. Who else do we have? Just Deb. Good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Steph is up in the house. It's nice to see you as well. I think we're getting close to the bottom. Sharing is Karen with Miss Chewy. Good Lord, that's a long name. But we're glad you're here. Long name or no name, it doesn't matter. Linda Lou, it's nice to see you. No pun intended. Wolf is up in the house. It's nice to see you as well. Mary, good morning. Good morning, everyone. So I will be honest with you. I took the day off yesterday. I needed some downtime. I was exhausted. I've been running. I've been working my tail end off, and I just needed a day to myself. I did throw some videos up. It was just kind of everything kind of thrown together. So it's not like I was really working. And I also didn't do very much research, but we're going to go over. I did pull up 4 cases this morning that I do want to go over, and those are Sebastian Rogers, Madeline Soto, Elijah Vu, and Laken Riley, which is going to kind of dovetail in Rachel Morin because I've been on the fence, off the fence. Hug Dealer, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Maddie Dawn, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. And Laken Riley kind of runs into Rachel Morin, and I've been on the fence with this particular matter because I thought he might be Jose Antonio Ibarra, I thought could be responsible for her. And then I was reading an article and they said he didn't come into the United States until September, but they didn't give a year. So it almost implied when you just put September, you naturally imply that it's the most recent September. So mainstream media wasn't putting 2022 in there. They just said in September of last year. Well, these articles are coming out in 2024. So September of last year is 2023, not 2022. But I have been researching and working and found out, and also the Real Me Too had brought it up in this chat that it was 2022. But I had been reading the articles and nobody referenced 2022 until after Karen had said it was 2022. And as I was doing some research, I did come across an article that implied that it was 2022 that this guy came in. And for that same article further implied that he had only been in Georgia for about 30 days. So does that mean that he was in New York this entire time until he was shipped down here? And how did he get here? Also, the apartment complex that he was in is, I don't think is campus apartments. I think those are off-campus apartments on like the UGA campus, but they're kind of like the King Road, where it's like apartments off just on the outskirts of campus. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, because when I look into the apartments, it doesn't say you have to be a student to live there. So it's implying to me that it's not strictly school housing. So that's one good thing. I would like to find out who owns that apartment complex, and who's responsible for vetting these people and what their policies are on renting to illegal aliens. And furthermore, I want to know, was federal government funds used to house them? The answer is most likely yes. But, now comes into play a few other things in my mind politically, because I've been doing some research on what kind of public records I'm allowed to get from a private entity that uses federal funds. And it's a very difficult process. I can ask the federal government for information, but I can't ask that private entity for information. And I don't like that, because here in America, we have this thing called transparency that we, the people, require from our politicians to say, hey, you can't just frivolously spend our money. Where's our money going? And by them giving federal funds to private entities, it's basically being untransparent. We can only see one side of things. We can only, hey, second thesis, we can only see what money is being sent to them through FOIA, and that's if the federal government hands it over. I hate dealing with federal government record requests, but I mean, we get through them. We do get them. We have to fight for them a little bit harder when it comes to our federal government. But if it's a federal government, I can get just about anything. Unless it's got to deal with the FBI or any type of crime related to political prisoners. I'm not going to go into that. But that's the problem I have. So I'm going to start trying to figure out a strategy on getting as much information about the Laken Riley case, and predominantly Jose Antonio Ibarra. I really want to know where he was, where he's going, who got him here, how was it all paid for, and what all happened. How did we get here? That's what I'm going to be going over with Laken Riley. So we're going to be reading articles. I haven't read some of these articles yet, so we're going to read them together. But before we start, again, I just started my political channel on TikTok. We have the one on here, which is Bullhorn Betty for President. If you want to get on over there, it used to be our Bullhorn Betty, Bettie. And I told you guys, if you guys did not want, we want to get that one up. Sorry, I'm banging my little notepad. Want to get that up and running. But it was going to be changed. I told you guys up front that it was going to most likely be changed to a political channel, which I have went ahead and made those changes in light of the 2024 elections. And we're going to be getting started on that. And I know I have mediocre, I have some people that are political, some people that aren't. We're not all on the same page politically, and that's okay. We're very accepting of all people because I believe in the process. And if you just believe in the dignity of the process, I acknowledge it's not a perfect process. Our democracy is not a perfect process. Our justice system is not a perfect process, but it's our process. Link to the channel. Does anybody have the link to my Bullhorn Betty BBBTT? Give me just a second. I think maybe this one. Oh, this is it. Hold on here. I'll drop this one in the chat. This is right here. So this is my YouTube. That's my YouTube new channel. Hold on, let me find you and here's my TikTok new channel. If you guys would like it and sub up, here's the TikTok. So I'm gonna play you guys the new one for TikTok because it's a hit on Nikki Haley. I'm not a Nikki Haley fan. I've never been a Nikki Haley fan. I'm not into identity politics. I'm not one of these people that need to have a woman in the White House. Okay. I want the best person in the White House. If that's a woman, I want a woman in the White House. If that's a man, I want a man in the White House. If that's a Hispanic man, I want a Hispanic. You see what I'm saying? If that's a black man, if that's a white man, a white woman, black man, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not into the identity politics. Okay. I want the best person in that seat, regardless of where they came from, what their identity is, I don't care. Can you run this country? That's the only thing I care about. Can you run this country responsibly? That's the shit I care about. Okay. I don't care about if you're a female, if you identify as, I don't care. I can promise you the American people, they don't care. You know what they care about? They want to know how you're going to give them more money. They want to know how you're going to make their streets safer. They want to know how you're going to educate their kids better. They're wanting to know how you're going to provide them better jobs so they can afford. Nobody gives a shit whether it's a female or a man. Okay. And if you do, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Okay. And I can't fix stupid. Okay. And I'm not going to try. And I don't care if I get beat up, because clearly no matter what I do, I'm going to get beat up. So I might as well be me, right? If you don't like me, you don't like me. Wow. Stand in line, pick a number. We got a small line behind us. An echo chamber, but it's a small line. So just stand in that small line. So anyways, I figured, you know me. We might as well go ahead and put it up here. Let me see if I can get this thing going. I'm gonna have to go to. So Nikki Haley answers some questions, and I've got to say, some of her statements are pretty bizarre. If I were to do no labels, then that would require a Democrat VP, and I can't do what I want to do with a Democrat VP.
I don't want to do this because I don't want to have a Democrat vice president.
What?
She's a good right-wing conservative. She's pro-life, neoconservative, Tea Party governor. She's not the no labels sort of candidate.
I looked into this no labels thing just to see what is it. And I've got to tell you, it does sound pretty good in theory. But when you look at all the stuff that needs to happen, it's not looking very good in practice. It's definitely better in theory than in practice.
But if they're still serious about offering somebody who can win, it's not Nikki Haley. And what they really are all about is simply being anti-Donald Trump. Then they will look long and hard at Nikki Haley because she will pull Republican votes away from Donald Trump.
For a Nikki Haley supporter liaison on News Nation having to explain to the audience that she's not a Democrat, that she's a conservative, I think we got problems.
Right, but I just want to say that was the only time she said that about the Democrat vice president. She's consistently been saying she's a Republican.
Yeah.
And then she goes on to say and speak about how Nikki Haley raised $12 million. Well, maybe it's the Democrat she's pandering to.
That she still raised $12 million in February after losing all of this. It's a ton of money, and it's still...
Yeah.
So it is more than independents that want her.
Okay.
Just saying.
No one will win under no labels.
And so my thing before people beat me up and say, Betty's anti-Democrat. Well, first of all, I am a conservative. Okay, so I'm going to be going for conservative values, not the Democrat values. To the Democrats aren't important. So that's why I always inspire people, speak your mind and get involved on your voice, not mine, right? And if you don't like my voice, then get out there and create your own voice. That's all I want. I want people to get out there and have their voice heard no matter what side of the aisle you're on. I just happen to be on this side of the aisle, right? Because I believe in it. But when you're running on certain values and a certain platform, right, you don't want your candidate pandering to the other side. That's like, you wouldn't want your candidate pandering to people like me when you're wanting them to pander to people like you, okay? It's just, that's the way it is. I want a president that's going to do something for me, right? And you should want a president that's going to do something for you. So those are the reasons why we have differences in policy. So it's not to attack people. It's to empower people. So there we go. If you guys see, I didn't attack a Democrat, right? That was Nikki Haley. She was on my side, okay? I just don't like her. So there you go. There's my tribute. There's my tribute to Nikki Haley, okay? God bless you on your 2024 presidential bid, but we're going to run you over, ladies. So just go ahead and move on, okay? Go ahead and take that support and get behind the Republican ticket like you're going to eventually do, since you've already ruined your name. So there you have it, folks. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox. Now getting on to more important issues, and I mean that with all wholeheartedness, more important issues. Why is that doing that? That's weird. I must have hit a button. We're going to be talking about Layla Santanello. Layla Santanello is a case that we have been covering. This is an update on her case. This is a news release that just came out yesterday. This is kind of, to be honest with you, I've been expecting this to come out. And while we were in Texas, I was actually expecting this to happen. But it didn't happen until just recently. And I just wanted to go over it. So What has Kingsport Police done in this investigation? The answer is the Kingsport Police Department has obtained and served over 30 search warrants, entered Layla in VICAP, an FBI database and National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, conducted search of 562 Dale Street, the residence of Layla and Michael Thompson, by search warrant on August 4th, 2023. We broke that here on our channel. Everybody again called me a liar and said I didn't know what I was talking about, and how dare I, without proper linkage, to say that they were doing a search warrant of her boyfriend's house. But that was the truth, and that's what we brought to you. Apparently the hate channels on here don't like you guys getting some breaking news. You can break it from them, you can break it from mainstream media, but Bullhorn Betty's not allowed to break it without being called a liar. We were right on that. 562, you can go back and look at it, because I'm the one that broke that. 562 was related to Layla Santanello. 562 Dale Street was Michael Thompson. 562 is the one, the house that we plastered. Remember, everybody said, why are you plastering missing person signs only on one road, right? Because we don't know what we're doing, right? Remember that? Why are we only posting missing person signs? Because we were sending a freaking message, dumbasses. That's why it was on one road. You want to know what road those signs were posted on? Dale Street, dum-dums. Dum-dums. Back in August, what did we do? We peppered Dale Street. Why? Well, let's keep going. Just remember, we don't know what we're doing when we're out there, by the way, guys. You know, we just lie to our audience, try to get clicks and some views, and you know, these dumbasses that sit on their ass and do absolutely nothing but bitch, moan, and groan. Good Lord. They never get anything right. They have to be told what to say. They can't even think for themselves. We think for ourselves over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. People don't like that. 6 ground searches have been conducted, including the use of drones, forward-looking infrared, and canines. The Holly Bobo Act, which provides support of Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, numerous interviews. The next question, is the case related to Holland Snap? The answer is no. We told the audience here that these cases were not connected. What other agencies have assisted in the investigation? TBI. Other agencies have assisted in ground searches, to include Sullivan County Emergency Management, Kingsport Fire Department, Kingsport Life Saving Crew, Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, Bristol, Tennessee Fire Department, Hawkins County Rescue Squad, Churchill Rescue Squad, Washington County Rescue Squad, Johnson City Fire and Rescue, and Unicoi Rescue Squad. What is Kingsport Police Department doing next? The case is a priority for KPD. Detectives are still pursuing all leads and tips. If anyone has any information, you are asked to call 423-343-9780 or 1-800-TBI-FINE. Was Layla last seen at the marble slab? No. Early in the investigations, detectives and agents believe she was last seen at the marble slab based on several witnesses. Detectives and agents followed the leads and eventually learned that a woman was seen at the marble slab was not Layla. They confirmed that the information through phone records, as well as identifying the woman and the interviewing of her. Where was Layla last seen? Layla was last seen on June 27, 2023 at approximately 6:15 in the field next to AmeriCorps, 1900 American Way, Kingsport, Tennessee. When Layla was reported missing on June 27th, how long has Layla been missing since June 27th? Is Layla's disappearance connected to other missing person cases? No, there has been no evidence to connect Layla's disappearance to any other person's case. Is Michael Thompson arrested for Layla's disappearance? No, there's no evidence to suggest that Thompson was related to Layla's disappearance. Michael Thompson was charged by Sullivan County grand jury with extortion and identity theft based on evidence collected through this investigation related to the Cash App request that had been sent to several of Layla's family members and friends after she was reported missing. And if you remember, when Layla went missing and there was the marble slab, We just ran another story not too long ago, and we have been maintaining that the AmeriCorps Hotel was the last sighting of Layla Santanello. It wasn't her walking down a road on a camera. It wasn't the marble slab. It was an if we weren't really sure. And I will tell you the statements that had us the most concerned, especially with marble slab. Now, I'm sorry. I still think the marble slab has some type of connection because she described Layla Santanello to a T. And they may just be saying it's not because they can't confirm it, or they're saying in this statement that they have confirmed it's not her. But listen to this. The lady at the marble slab basically said to us that Layla, that there was a blonde girl that was in there. She had no shoes on. She was wearing black pants and the tank top. She was dirty. She was malnourished. She needed some water, and she gave her some fluids, and the girl wanted to use her phone. The girl told this lady in the marble slab that her husband was after her. Her husband took her flip-flops so she couldn't get away from her. And if her husband found her, that he was going to kill her. That is what was told to us by the lady at the marble slab. So even if that person was not Layla Santanello, it was still another person that does need help, because she was obviously being abused and tracked down, which so happens coincides on the same exact day that Layla Santanello, another blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, just so happened to be hunted down by her significant other. We have a gentleman that was right outside of the wooded area that Layla was seen coming out of. Now, we know that we have eyewitnesses that watched her run into those very woods, and we have an eyewitness watching her walk out of the woods, and he said that it appeared that she was laying on the ground because he could see both dirt patches on both of her shoulders. Sonia was with us when we talked to that man, so Sonia can express what she heard the man say, but he did speak to law enforcement. And what we learned from that is that Michael Thompson was searching for Layla Santanello since June 15th or June 24th, rather. She went missing on June 27th. So he was already reaching out to Layla's mother to tell Layla's mom that he could not find her on the 24th. So he had been working to search for her since 6/24. He was hot on her trail around 9 a.m. on 6/27 because the man that saw Layla also stated that about an hour later, a young, slender man, a young boy, kind of came through there asking if he had seen his wife. Michael Thompson was referring to Layla as his wife. And he said that he had just seen her, and described who he had seen, and just seen her going toward the Greenbelt. We always had a problem with the Greenbelt in conjunction with the time that the marble slab seen her. There was a 4-hour window we could not close. We tried to close it and couldn't. We went all over trying to find out where she could have, been to be at the marble slab at 12:30, between 12:30 and 1. And we could not seem to get it to fit. You can ask, that's one of the reasons why we were in this one community over across the street so long, is for somebody to tell us, yeah, she was just chilling over there and ended up walking back. So it sounds like it's possible that Michael may have ran into her long before that 12:30, 1 o'clock time frame. But as soon after she truly disappeared, which was after he was hot on her trail, he started hitting her mother up for cash apps and saying that, she needs the money. And you guys have already heard all about the cash apps. So that's the reason why they searched Michael's home, is because those pings came from his home. And now they have officially arrested him on those charges. Now, I find it odd that he's hitting her mother up for money, on the day and shortly after the days after she officially disappeared. It was also reported that Michael stated that Layla had taken some money, his money. So I find it also odd that he was sober or appeared to be sober the morning of the 27th, but the very next day he was so blitzed out of his mind he couldn't barely talk. So there is those factors. So I'm just thankful that something's going on. It sounds like Michael was talking about turning himself in. I'm pretty sure he was arrested without incident. And so that's kind of where we're at. So now we're just going to move on. I've got some stuff to say about this. This is a case that I'm just now kind of diving into because we've been so busy with other cases. Not that this case, good Lord, why is all this stuff? Not that his case is, this boy's case is not important. It's just that we have a lot of cases. There's only one me. I don't have a team, a huge team of people. I have my mods that help me out here and there. But other than that, a lot of the stuff is, I have to do myself. So in this case, this is one of those situations where there's an autistic boy that has disappeared. And at first they were discussing this case. I remember some of the details of this case. And at first they were discussing this as this boy just walked off on his own. Well, they've been searching for him. I know that there were people here in this chat, like literally immediately when this boy's name was brought up in chat, saying that they felt like something else was going on. I know that I read some articles prior to today, just keeping an eye on this case, and people were starting to feel, I remember reading comments and they're like, something's not right, something's not right, something's not right. And you kind of got the feeling that people just, our people here on True Crime, they it's like one of those things where we've almost seen it all. We haven't, because right when we don't think humanity can get any more depraved, another case comes up that shows us just how depraved some human beings can be. But we're really astute and really tuned in to BS, right? We kind of get the BS, and that's the issue, is the BS factor. And so many people's BS buttons are really fine tuned, and they just get it. It's like, something's not right here. This doesn't make sense. They're trying to put the pieces together to formulate their own theories, opinions, and speculation. And when things don't seem right, or they seem difficult to put the pieces together, we start thinking, this doesn't sound right. There's something afoul here. I can tell you, long before this article or these series of articles have come out, people's BS was tuned in, and they were screaming BS long before these articles started coming out. It's just nobody was listening to them. So those people that were out there saying that this is not right, something doesn't feel right, you weren't wrong. You were tuned in. You were picking up on cues, and those cues you analyze correctly. And so I just want to say, whoever, from the gate that was saying that this story is sketchy, thank you, Jules, sketchy, you guys were right on, because it sounds like now law enforcement is believing those theories that, hey, wait a minute, something ain't right here. I mean, this boy should be found. It's not like he can just, blend in with society. I mean, he needs assistance. People can clearly see this boy needs assistance. People can look at somebody and say something isn't right. And not only that, but right now he's on national news. Like, everybody's looking for this boy. So if you have a person that's acting a little different, because autistic people act very different. They're very shy. They're very, they get scared very easily. There are triggers for them, right? That get them, to act different ways. Sometimes they can, act in violent ways. Not that they're violent people. It's just that that's their coping mechanism when they don't know what's going on. So I feel like if he was out there or just wandering around, he would naturally be bringing attention to himself. And if that's the case, people's eyes will turn to him no matter what environment he's in, because they're going to be like, what is that guy doing? Is that guy okay? Does he need assistance? You guys know that we've all had experiences like that, where we're just out in something just isn't right, and we're just looking and like, but now that his face is plastered, if people look, they're like, oh my gosh, that's that boy that everybody's been looking for. We need to call this in. Nobody's doing that. It's a big boy. It's not like we're looking for a Summer Wells here that can be packed into a freaking laptop box. We're looking for a grown boy, man-sized boy. A little harder to hide, right? Even scared. So let's go over some of the stuff that I'm reading about this particular case. Let me put this back up here. I think that's it right there. So I'm just going to read this. Despite searching for missing Tennessee 15-year-old boy with autism drags into the 8th day on Monday, with authorities even booming his favorite song at one point over the last week in hopes of drawing the teen out. Sebastian Rogers was reported missing on February 26th, sparking an Amber Alert as multiple agencies scour the area around the city of Hendersonville using drones, police dogs, helicopters, and boats, according to the reports. Authorities also came up with a unique approach in helping find the teen, though it didn't pan out. You're talking about a big boy here. You know what I'm saying? And autism is a developmental issue, I think, or a personality. I don't know what I think it's a developmental issue that I really don't understand. I know some of them are nonverbal, some of them are verbal, but have some certain tendencies. Some of them seem normal, but have been diagnosed, lower grade on the spectrum of autism. But the autism diagnosis has different levels as well, from, mild, moderate, aggressive. You got a lot of different stages of, like, one person that's autistic may act or function much differently than another person with autism. So those things I understand, but I don't understand the illness in general, or again, I don't even know if it's an illness, a developmental personality. I don't understand it. So I know more people do understand it. I'll just have to look into it. It's not something that I really cover. And I may have read it at some time in the past, but I just forgot because it's not something we cover very often on here. We're told his favorite song is Eye of the Tiger. Sumner County Sheriff's Department Deputy Chief Eric Craddock said, we're trying to play that kind of calling him and letting him know we're here to help. I'm sure that he could see what's going on here and be intimidated. So they think that if he is out there, the search itself could be a little scary for him. But if he sees the newscast, I want him to know, Sebastian, come out. We're here to help you. We just want to get you home safe. During a Monday brief, Craddock said officials were going to scale back its ground search for Rogers, but insisted the sheriff's department remain committed to bringing him home. Let me be clear. And remember, we heard that, where they're committed to bringing him home, but you don't really hear them saying bringing him home safely, right? The safely starts dropping after their words, and it almost implies that we're looking for recovery. The boy's parents detailed the excruciating 8 days they faced since his vanish. I wouldn't wish this on anyone, his mother, Katie Proudfoot, anyone. She repeatedly said when she went to wake her son up from bed, he wasn't there, which set off a furious search inside the home for him. Proudfoot noted her child has high-functioning autism. So high-functioning, we'll have to look that up. I guess he functions higher, or, he's a higher functioning. Maybe he's not. I don't know. We'll have to look into it. I know people out there that deal with this understand it a lot better than me. I'm not the one. She also said he was very smart and not the type to get in trouble. Stepfather Chris Proudfoot said his family has faced a roller coaster ride of emotion between helpless and hopeless. Many other emotions all in one, and it's never-ending world because it doesn't stop, he told the station. So that's it for that one. Keep moving on to the next one. The family of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. What's all of a sudden with a four-name name? Anyways, the missing 15-year-old boy, last seen at his family home in Hendersonville 8 days ago, is speaking out on social media as Sumner County officials announced Monday they are scaling back search and rescue effort. We've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian, Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock said in the Monday briefing. At this time, the decision has been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear, that does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from ground search to the investigative side. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. Officials are it just popped up on me. Officials are maintaining as planned response in this case. In case there are any reported sightings of the missing teen. Meanwhile, Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, said in a live stream interview Sunday on Tuesday, "We love and want you to come home." It's pretty simple. This boy has a very large family that everybody is asking the questions. Where are you? We love you. Please come home, stepfather Chris Proudfoot said. The community has been rallying around the family wearing green, the teen's favorite color. But despite the rallying cry, as hundreds of community members gather and pray for the 15-year-old the family calls Bubba, officials have been unable to find any trace of Sebastian in days since his disappearance. Communication with state officials and consultation with experts remain ongoing. This decision does not come lightly, he said, citing the decision to scale back search efforts. A local fire station will continue to hold the command post for the search and rescue operations, though it will no longer be manned 24/7, Sumner Emergency Management Agency Director Ken Widener said. K-9 units in the area, along with officers on patrol and search and rescue officials, will be ready to dispatch should officials receive information on Sebastian's whereabouts. Any tip we get, we will reactivate the level and we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with. Officials as far as Knox County have said, have come to aid local agencies in the search for missing boy, Craddock noted. If there was a resource we thought could help locate Sebastian, we've used it, he said. Officials with Tennessee wildlife rescue agencies have recently joined in the search efforts. Officers in Region 2 have been coordinated directly with Sumner County EMA to search along the waterways and wooded areas, TWRA officials said in a Facebook post during the weekend. And through it all, Sumner officials have continuously asked area residents to search their properties, and surveillance and trail cameras footage of notes will have been shot so they're looking for stuff between February 25th and February 26th. No detail is too small. We believe even the smallest detail could be key to locating Sebastian. A recent statement from the sheriff's office says, noting that any movements, vehicles, or individuals captured during this time could aid in the investigation. When asked whether Sebastian had special interests like trains, parks, a school bus route he might be familiar with, Chris and Katie Proudfoot said on the live stream that the boy loves playgrounds and may have fidgets with paper clips, pennies, and Legos he plays with. He's an avid Minecraft player. So if he's an avid Minecraft player, he would want to be home to play his game. And why would a 15-year-old autistic boy be trying to run away? We have to ask those questions too, if that's the case. which I'm starting to feel like even law enforcement isn't feeling like that's the case. They've shut basically the search down. He loves to dance. The boy will dance his tail off. His stepfather noted that Sebastian was socially awkward and has a couple of friends at school. He said the boy often asks for friends as birthday and Christmas gifts. That's potentially dangerous because that could open up the door for somebody to say, hey, I'll be your friend, and potentially cause harm, Chris Proudfoot said. Of course he would say that. Why is he interjecting his theory in here to make it believable? I don't like that statement that he said. I don't know. In a situation like this, that's almost red flaggy. It's almost like interjecting, trying to be overly helpful, trying to start talking about a different narrative. I don't like that. I don't like that coming from the stepfather. As a stepfather, Chris Proudfoot said he is strict and does not allow Sebastian to use social media or unmonitored phones. Okay, well then there you go. If you're very strict on this boy, this autistic boy, how strict are you, first and foremost? And secondly, it doesn't sound like he's putting himself in harm's way to be potentially harmed, since you're taking that element of risk away. The family said on a live stream they have been harassed on social media, especially Chris Proudfoot, who said people have been critical of him because he's involved in a custody battle in another state. Interesting. What is factual is the father, the mother, and myself have been extremely cooperative, he said. We have been vetted. We have been checked out. We have been questioned and everything of that nature, and literally have been cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any of the family. Have we heard from law enforcement that anybody's been cleared? Because that's what Chris Proudfoot's telling the world, that he and their family have been cleared of any wrongdoing. I just want to make sure that that's corroborated, because I'd like to know how we would corroborate that when law enforcement's not even telling the public that. Nobody wished that they were going through nobody would wish that they're going through on anyone, he added. The search is continuing as Sebastian remains missing for more than a week after the family said he left their home. Homeowners interested in sharing their video surveillance in a bid to help in this case can register at Sumner County, blah, 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 blah. Officials also asked the residents to continue through searches of their property, including places where a child might seek shelter or could accidentally become trapped. So let me see what's on this one. Give me a second while it loads. Let me just look at some of I've been on the, because I'm working from one screen instead of two. I haven't. Let me read what it says. Guidance. There's a 13-year-old girl named Kaylee Kinder missing from Arkansas. She was last seen by her parents around midnight the night before. She had a disagreement with her dad and walked out. Now they did something with him. No more searching. Yes, Susie Sue, no more searching. We all know what that means. My 18-year-old loves Minecraft. She stays home to just play it. Exactly. This kid would be looking for a gaming system. He's autistic, so I know that they have like their like tics and stuff like that. Like they have to do certain things, and I do understand that like repetition and keeping a schedule is really beneficial for those types of disabilities. So I pray he's found soon. Yeah, but see, the problem is I'm having an issue. I'm having a whole issue with the fact that this is a big boy. It's not like a little kid that we usually cover. It's a big human being. I mean, he can be almost man size, full grown man size at 15, right? I mean, look at Hunter, right? Hunter was, when he was 15, he looked like a 25-year-old, right? He was a big boy. So this kid here is not a small little kid. We're not talking about it, under 10. We're talking about a 15-year-old tall boy. And we've watched law enforcement. We've watched Tennessee law enforcement. We know how Tennessee works. We know their processes. We've watched them with Summer Wells. There have been several children in Tennessee that have disappeared. They've gone for walks with their dogs. It just never came back home. And one boy, a few counties over from where Summer Wells disappeared, it took them 48 hours to find that boy, but they found the boy. Because at the end of the day, you don't walk that fast. It's not like you're steady running for all day, the entire time. Like you're walking. Most people are walking. Even if you did, like, say, run away from home and physically ran, you're only going to be able to physically run for so long. And then you're back to a either brisk pace or a normal walking pace. And so with the helicopters, drones, ATVs, law enforcement has a way of catching up with you and finding you. And they had dogs. And my understanding is, this is the kicker with Sebastian's case. Now, my audience is going to have to correct me because, again, I haven't been watching this case. I've been covering other cases. Audrey Cunningham, Uvalde, the border. Then we went to North Carolina for a political event. And then I covered the case, or, partially covered. We didn't get we did get a good coverage of Lake and Riley, just going back there and searching and walking through and everything like that. There, and it's like, so we did cover it with boots on the ground. I just didn't get to do a lot of the investigative stuff that I wanted to do while I was there because of the problems with Olivia's vehicle. It just threw us off that day, and it was getting so late by the time we finally did get resolution, that we both had to just get back on the road and start heading back home. But we've been covering so many different cases that, it's been hard. I mean, I keep my eye on certain things, and if something is breaking, I may step in. With this change of events, it is, it's causing problems. So I'm going to say that they're asking for footage of vehicles, people's movements. So I'm thinking that they're looking into the parents. They're being very coy about it, right? They're being very nonchalant about it by saying, we're just looking for vehicles and movements. No big deal. We just need some videos, right? I think that at this point, mom and dad were in control of this child. This child disappeared on their watch. This child is obviously not being found. It is my understanding that there is no video of this child leaving that home. They have nothing there's no scent that was picked up by the dog. It just seems like this boy was there 1 minute and poof, gone the next. So that is what I'm hearing. Now, again, you got to take that for what you will. That's what I'm hearing. Do I know that for a fact? No, I'm not boots on the ground. I have no way of corroborating this information. This is what I'm hearing. So I'm telling you so you guys can do your own research and formulate your own opinion and get your own stuff. This is what I'm hearing. This is what's making me kind of lean toward there. We need to look at the parents a little bit closer because of the information. And I'm sorry, but some of the information we can't discredit because of anonymous sources. You just can't. You got to try to balance and find out if it's possible and protect, all the possibilities that it could be. But I think with this being 8 days, no sighting of him at all, an autistic boy that would be acting very weird in a strange environment because he would be terrified and scared and probably bringing attention to himself naturally just by his shocked and being, in an environment he's not comfortable with and being an autistic person. One thing I'm understanding about autism is they don't like change. They don't like things that aren't normal and customary to them. So this, I just don't see how it's possible he would even literally walk out the door. I don't know. Not necessarily. Okay, well, am I Casual Christie? I can see you. You're fine. Makes me wonder when you ask that. But no, you should not. You should never be blocked on here. Okay. Karma loves you. It's not. Yeah, not necessarily. Yeah, I get it. It's a drug hub. Oh, is mom and dad on drugs? Do we know mom and dad's history? Yeah, Mama Bear at 10. I know we talked several times. We haven't talked in a little minute, but I remember when you called in and we talked on the phone. I think we talked on the phone. Maybe we talked in chat, but I almost feel like I talked to you. And you were talking about your children, because God bless you. I mean, you are who, I mean, you not adopt, but foster children. You might adopt children too. I can't remember, but I know that you foster kids, and your passion is kids that nobody can really handle, that need that extra attention and extra love and stuff like that. I remember, there's certain things I never forget, Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. That's what. Yeah. Okay. So you did adopt. I remember because we were talking about, I think it was Child Protective Services, and you were talking about some type of situation that happened at home. It was completely innocent, but, could have been really, and you were talking, I think, about your experience with the Department of Children and Family Services and stuff like that, with an incident that happened. And I remember you expressing that. I can't remember what the topic was, but I remember that. And I remember getting into the great work that you do. And I just, God bless you for that. God bless you for all that you do. And I know that the kids that are in your care are beautiful, are healthy, are loved, right? Are absolutely loved. So God bless you. Oh, Southern Granny Me Wolf up in the house. I hope you're doing well. All special needs. Yep. Okay. That's it. The drowning. Yes. Absolutely. And all the stuff that you had to go through with that, but everything cleared up, and they, nothing happened. They did what they had to do, and everything worked out as it was supposed to. So that's good. My 4-year-old nephew is autistic, and he's so smart. He taught himself the Russian alphabet and knows much more. Well, interesting. He amazes us every day. And that's what I was saying, is because, before autism, one of the biggest thing when I was growing up was Down syndrome. The children had, and we didn't have a whole, if we did, we didn't know about it. We didn't have a whole lot of ADHD or autism and spectrum conversations and stuff like that in my day. I don't know if it existed or if it was manufactured by stuff we're pumping in our body. I'm just saying that it wasn't a discussion when I was growing up, but Down syndrome was. And when women were diagnosed with children with Down syndrome, believe it or not, as sad as it is, they terminated those pregnancies. And I remember that one lady was talking to me about how she had Down syndrome. She knew she was pregnant. She knew that her daughter was going to have Down syndrome, and the medical professionals were actually encouraging her to terminate her pregnancy and explaining up all the problems that she was going to have with this child that had Down syndrome and everything else. And this was her child, and she wanted to have her baby, and she was going to, accept the baby as perfect as God made this baby for her. And she told me the joy that her daughter brought her, that the love, and just how special her child was. And she told me she could never in a million years give up the joy of raising and parenting a Down syndrome child. She said it was a gift from God for her. And I was just like taken back, because I didn't know that at that time. I didn't know that, it was recommended that you didn't have children that had Down syndrome at some point in time. Now, I was born in 1979. Again, take that for what you will. We have to understand, society was a lot different. Society evolves, right? So you can't blame people for history, because in all fairness, it's a growing process. I bet you more doctors now encourage parents to have children with Down syndrome, as opposed to discourage it. Why? Because we know more about it now. We know that children have great lives. They can be educated. It's funny, because it's ignorance that holds us back. It's absolute ignorance. But for this mom She trusted her gut. She trusted her instincts. She trusted her morals. She trusted her values. And she had an amazing life despite all odds. And so it was just a beautiful story that I will always remember. It's a story that that is a true story that I learned when I was only 14 years old from the mom of this Down syndrome child. So it was, I've carried that with me for a long time, and I will continue to carry that story with me into the future. So there you have it. There you have it. So I do know that, children, it just seems to me that a lot of people, especially parents, and there are some trying times from my understanding with autism and ADHD, especially with the diagnosis problem, especially like if you don't know what's going on with your child, you're not expecting, you think your child's normal, and then they start showing some, different signs, and you take them to the doctor, and then you get the news that your child has either ADHD or is on the spectrum and has autism. And then you're kind of freaking out, like, what do we do? And this is a case where I just don't see how many people have heard of autistic kids running away from home? I mean, it's really not something we hear about because they function differently. Even as smart as they are. Hey, TD, it's nice to see you, Cheryl. It's nice to see you. With Down syndrome, they still give you a choice. I kept my child. She's amazing. Speaks several. See? Yes. She's beautiful. And yes, I was friends with a chick. It was her mom that told me about her story. I was friends with a chick that had Down syndrome. I don't know. She was a hip chick. I liked hanging out with her. I don't know what to say. Oh, yeah, that's what I hear. But there was a time when doctors were like, it was like the plague, like to have a child with Down syndrome. It was like a lifetime sentence. They made it sound like it was the worst thing in the world. Of course, I obviously wasn't alive when this happened. I might have been alive, but I was a little baby. I didn't even have brain cells at that point. I had lungs and a heart that was beating. I could open my eyes and say goo goo gaga, right? So I'm listening to this lady's story. I only have her words, to tell you because she's the one that told me the story. I don't know how true it is, but I have to think it was true because I don't see why a lady would tell me that doctors recommended her terminating her pregnancy if doctors didn't recommend her terminating her pregnancy. And as time went on, as I got older, that wasn't the first time I ever heard of that, but that was the most heartfelt story. That's why I tell you. My daughter is a wanderer. We have tons of safeties in place. Okay, so, well, then you're probably more, I guess you would probably be more of an expert in this than really anyone, Mama Bear, to be honest with you, because we can speculate about this stuff all day long and I can read articles, but you have children that have disabilities. You have children that have similar disabilities. But explain, let me ask you this so we don't get into because you're going to be typing. You're going to be typing and I don't want you having to break your fingertips. You say you have a wanderer, but isn't it common that they stay in very specific, like if, for example, if they were wanderers, wouldn't they go to a specific park? Isn't it the repetition thing with autism and ADHD? They like repetition. They like the same stuff, right? So if, say, for example, if he were to get out and he loved going to the jungle gym, or maybe the water park, like the little splash pads or something like that, like with Michael Monkey Vaughn, I would almost feel like an autistic person would, their brain thinks a little differently and may go to those places because they're the places that are familiar to them. And when you have autism, familiarity is really key to keeping their symptoms at bay, if that makes sense, and if I'm understanding it correctly. Jacqueline says, my last twins, I was told the boy had hydrocephalus, okay. And they wanted me to terminate him. I refused. They're 19. He has CP, a lot of issues, but wouldn't trade it for the world. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Because you know what, even in that, I always look at it, I don't think God makes mistakes. And it's like, I think we as society think of these things as imperfect and imperfections. And I just think that by looking at them as imperfect and imperfections, we totally miss the beauty and the goodness, wholesome love that these perfect beings create. And I'm going to say perfect beings. Like, I'm deaf in my ear, right? I was born without a nerve. Everything's there. I've got the equipment there. Like, there's an eardrum, right? All the stuff that's supposed to be inside my ear is inside my ear, except one nerve, one microscopic nerve that has me completely deaf. And it was a defect. It's a birth defect that I had. It wasn't something that I had hearing and it disappeared. I've never had hearing since the day I was born. Okay. In my right ear. My right ear is completely deaf. Can't hear anything. If I'm in a loud thing and you're standing next to me, you can say the worst stuff about me. And if I hear anything coming out of your mouth, I'll probably look at you and smile, because I may hear you, but I can't understand what you're saying. Oh, I'm freezing up all over the place. I wonder why. I must have something open. Let me go ahead and kill some of these. Hopefully this stops the problem. We'll see. Okay. We'll see if that helps with the, because I had some stuff running. We're still getting through all the stuff. We're already in an hour. I got like 45 minutes and we're only on case one and I had 4 of them for you. So we'll just keep going through. Let me just read the comments. Aw. I think it's odd that you never see any disabled Amish. I live Amish communities and never have seen. It is kind of interesting. Okay, so Mama Bear says this case doesn't sound right to her. Something is off. Because I just think that, the child would have went, let's see what she says. Well, she got out of the house, and because not knowing danger, she went in the pool. Gotcha. So, and they did say there are some, they're looking at waterways. That's another thing is autistic people. I remember another autistic boy. Remember the young boy? He got out of his home and they ended up finding him in a pond, but he was much younger. I think he was 5 years or less. I think he was 2 to 5 years old. I can't remember the specific case, but that was really heartbreaking. So I'm not sure what this young boy's abilities are, if they taught him how to swim or anything, but it does sound like there's waterways, according to the statements received from that press release from the local law enforcement in his area. That makes sense if there's a park close, but I don't see him walking across town to go to a jumpy place. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, we have law enforcement here. We've had drones. We've had helicopters. We've had dogs. You would think that he would be contained in a small area. Now, granted, if he got out, got into water, not knowing where he was at, what he was doing, or how to swim, and just was attracted to the water, he could have something like that. Could still be an accident, but it would be very close to the house. And I have to think that they have searched everything near and around the house. According to law enforcement, they're scaling back because they've searched everything. Any place he could have gone, they searched and they haven't found him. And that's the odd part about this, because Sebastian is autistic. And because of his autism, it kind of limits where he would or could go. From his own, disability, like himself would prevent himself from doing certain stuff because of the fear factor, the fact that it's not normal to him, the fact that it's new to him, the fact that they don't think and process the same way that we do, where it's, we don't mind an adventure for autistic people. It's my understanding. Adventure and spontaneous is not a good feature when you have you need to have schedules, repetition, familiarity, all those comfort things. 24% of autistic children are nonverbal, so there's that issue if this child was as well. Yeah. They know his routine, and Ellie said it's now an investigation. That's true, Allie. You're right. They did. It's no longer a missing person. It's a criminal investigation that may go someplace else. But one of the key factors is that the mom woke up and went to go get her son up, and he was gone. He was gone. So that would have been in the morning. So, and I think somebody said the stepfather seems sus, because that's the one thing I didn't hear in that article, is that they got up. It was her that got up. Did that imply that the stepfather was already gone? And if the stepfather was already gone that time of morning and the son was already gone that time of morning, then what is preventing? But again, I don't know where the father or the stepfather says he was. There is a custody issue, is maybe pressure getting to him. Maybe he can't afford to take care of his family and this new custody problem. How long have mom and the boyfriend been together? How long has the boyfriend or husband been in the home? These are all, questions. Is there drugs are a factor? Has there been a past abuse in that home? How many times has law enforcement visited that home in the past? What, who, what, where, when, right? I agree. We can either feed their capabilities. We can focus on what they can't, feed what they can, because all can be brilliant. Yeah. There is only one. Yep. Thank you, Nani. Yep. Karma. He could talk. Okay, so that's even a positive. So he was a high functioning autistic person. So it wasn't as severe as some of the other cases we've heard and learned about in the past. Oh, that's a good idea. So maybe just for the people out there, if you do have autistic children or ones that are on the spectrum, or even ones that are just wanderers, right? Ones that have no problem except curiosity, right? Maybe, this is the day and age. This is 2024, as weird as it sounds. Let's track our children, right? Put a little tracker on them. Put it around their belt loop. Take it off at night, charge it up, and attach it to their belt loop in the morning. That might be a perfect option. Oh, thank you, love. Okay, let me see. I think I'm gonna come down here. Does anyone else YouTube restart the live on when ads play? I do have ads on here because we've been, obviously we need to keep the account solvent. So we have to put some ads on here when we have some more. I reduce the ads when we have more, participation from the group collectively, and then I'll start taking the ads off. But we haven't really been getting a whole lot of cash apps, super chats, or anything like that. So we have to run ads on literally everything. So just FYI, if people have a problem with that, sorry, but we got to get paid for the work. This is what funds the rest of the work. So it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary evil. So that's really all I had on Sebastian for right now. We do have, what's the other case here? Hold on a second. I'm probably dropping. I'll have to add this one. Sebastian shifting. Oh, here's the one. This is, I think, the one I wanted to show you guys the most. Hold on a second. Let me add this. Give me just a second. I don't know if we've read this or not. So let's get this up here. Here we go. I want to see this. Some nurses are scaling. Let's listen. We're probably going to have a commercial, so just bear with it.
My name is Dr. Stephen Park with Same Day Smile. Most important thing for me is for them to feel like I'm their friend. I'm on their side to help them achieve their dream of having a brand new smile. A procedure called All on 4 is the major focus of our practice, where you have patients come in with their bad teeth. We could replace their whole mouth of teeth in one day.
I couldn't be more thrilled. And Dr. Park, what he wants to do.
Yeah, they just don't tell you it's like $50,000. You got to sell them a freaking child.
A significant shift in the case of Sebastian Rogers, the missing autistic 15-year-old. It's a case we have followed closely since he disappeared.
We care what happens next, just like you. And now 1 week after Sebastian vanished from his Sumner County home, authorities are scaling back the search effort, and they are now calling it an investigation.
Nick Barris shares the latest details, and we also hear for the first time publicly today from the missing teen's mother and stepfather.
The original thinking was that Sebastian Rogers left home on his own, but the fact that he disappeared without a trace.
That is it. Disappeared without a trace. That is hard to do, okay? I want to put this in perspective. We all, as human beings, whether we are part of the digital world or not, we are tracked, okay? We have traffic cameras, Ring doorbell cameras, CCTV footage on businesses. We have, whether or not we carry a phone, use banking, or even have social media, there is a way to spot us if we are missing, okay? Typically, it might not be a whole lot of information. But, an idea, like we saw a boy walking on a sidewalk, a half a mile down the road. He looks like this kid, right? That is a traced item. That's like, oh, okay, we can see him. Here he is. Nothing with this boy. Nothing. Without a trace.
Now has authorities looking into the very real possibility of foul play. Consider 7 days of intense searching.
7 days. This is an autistic boy. Okay? So he most likely cannot survive 7 days by himself. You're talking about 7 days with no food, 7 days with no water, 7 days with no bathroom, 7 days to fend for himself. And this is a child that's ill-equipped to do just that. And they can't find him. And they have no hits from the dog. And they have no surveillance video of him anywhere. And you've got a stepfather trying to blame it on an unknown plan B without any evidence. Remember, because in order to have a plan B, you've got to have some internet involved. How if you go drop him off at work, off at school, pick him up after school, don't allow him, so strict he's not allowed to have social media. Where's the predator going to come from? There's got to be some opportunity there, some motive and means there. Who has those motive, means, and opportunity? He was in bed. How did he leave? Mom woke up to get him up out of bed like she always does. Remember, repetition, schedule is key. So if mom's used to waking him up every single morning, he's going to be in the same place for her to wake him up as he was every single morning because that's his lifestyle. Doesn't make sense.
From the ground and air. Hundreds of officers and citizens, bloodhounds, and nothing. No security video of the teen and no trace of Sebastian.
We're used to producing, and this is one of those cases that we haven't been able to produce yet.
Nope.
Haven't been able to produce one scintilla of evidence supporting that this boy even walked out of that home. That's what I just heard. I know that's not what he said. But that's what I just heard him say. That is what I just heard this man say. He didn't say it just like that. But I just heard this man say that they have no proof this boy even just walked out of that home. That's what I just heard this man say. Let's go back and listen to it. When you listen to it, I think you'll get the same what I'm hearing here.
No one is giving up. Sebastian could still be alive somewhere alone.
There we go. I want to get back to that guy. Let's get back to that.
And air. Hundreds of officers and citizens, bloodhounds, and nothing. No security video of the teen, and no trace of Sebastian.
Let me put this on this big screen. I want you to hear this. This is what I just heard this man say. He didn't say it, but I just heard this man say they have no evidence this boy walked out of his home. Let's listen to what he has to say.
We're used to producing, and this is one of those cases that we haven't been able to produce yet.
No one is giving up. Sebastian.
So, well, let's go back. So we have a case. We have a case that there's no hits with the dogs. There's no cameras that can show this boy even left the house. And we got law enforcement saying they can't even produce one scintilla of a hit. That they're used to producing and they cannot produce for this case. That means they have no evidence this boy even walked out of that home.
No security video of the teen, and no trace of Sebastian.
No security of the team, no trace of him. No trace. Let's listen to this one more time.
We're used to producing, and this is one of those cases that we haven't been able to produce yet.
No one.
So what I heard is this they can't even prove this boy even left the home. That's what I heard. Gotta do the blue spray in that house. They might have. If they haven't yet, they're doing it in the next few days. I can tell you that. If they haven't yet, if people are in the area, and they will have to execute a search warrant in that house, and they will luminol the shit out of that home. They will go in there just like any other investigation. They're going to be pulling search warrants, searching the cars, searching the house if they have not already. They probably have searched these things, a cursory search with the permission of them. It's much different to go and execute a search warrant. A search warrant, the courts allow you to go a lot deeper. You don't have to have the owner's permission, and you can do what you need to do. But I just basically say that they cannot produce. That means they can't even, if they cannot produce, that means they didn't even get a hit that he was outside the home. You see what I'm saying? Because that would have been they would have produced at least that. He said they produced nothing. That means that they gave that dog something to sniff of this boy, and this boy couldn't even tell where this child left this house. That's what I just heard.
No one is giving up. Sebastian could still be alive somewhere, alone, hurt, lost, or trapped. The search effort will continue, but
we're scaling it back a little bit.
What exactly does that mean? Well, sources close to the case confirm authorities are now considering foul play, and that this missing teen case could become a criminal investigation. Sebastian's mother and stepfather broke their silence, talking about how he disappeared from their home.
So and this is another problem I have. The parents are now, it's too late. It's too late, in my opinion, now to go to social media. The damage is done to their credibility and reputation at this point. Because naturally this is the problem we deal with. They don't deal with this stuff every day, right? So they don't know how to act. They don't know they can go and do whatever little bit of meager research they're going to do online to try to answer these questions for them. Hey, Noelle, it's nice to see you. Troy, nice to see you as well. Kay, Ange, nice to see you guys. Thank you for being here. So you're going to have a situation where they're not going to know what to do, how to act, what to say. But for people like us and law enforcement, because they deal with this more than we do, right? We pick up a case here and a case there. We look at their behaviors. We look at their credibility is already shot, because we know that if this child was just lost, just wandered out of the house, especially with this child being on the spectrum and having autism, high functioning autism, that means he can talk, he's smart, he functions fairly normally, but not. That's my understanding of a high functioning autism. Again, I don't understand it. I'm not going to say I'm an expert on autism. I know absolutely very, very little. And that's all I can say. Very, very little about autism. And what I do know is what I've expressed to you that I know. And I don't even know if that's 100%. So, but what I do know is that it seems to me from what everybody's saying in chat that do know is this child would be doing things that this child is comfortable doing. So it's not like this child is a spontaneous child, will be doing new and exploratory things. Actually, those types of things typically scare children with autism because they need a schedule and they need repetition in their life in order to function normally or as normally as possible. Having scheduling conflicts and not keeping to a strict schedule can sometimes trigger a person with autism, from my understanding. Again, I don't know anything about autism, but the little bit I do know seems to be relevant in this matter. And probably why I only know those little limited things, because they're behavioral things that would bode with whether a child walks off, whether a child, goes missing, whether a child can be kidnapped. These parents didn't go, Don Wells and say that this child was abducted, right, off out of his bed. I think early on they probably learned that there was no forced entry into the home. I mean, that really is kind of like a requirement. You got to have some type of entrance that an assailant can come in and take that child. So the only thing that they could say is that the child must have left on his own, must have wandered out. The problem is we're learning now from the investigators, the searchers, the professional searchers out there, that they did not even get a hit outside of that house. They have produced nothing. That's what they said, nothing. And when they say they produced nothing, I believe when he says nothing, he means nothing. Otherwise, he would have said outside of the hit we got directly outside the front door, it fell off like we heard before, at the end of the road. We don't know what happened from the end of the road on. We that would still have been something. They said nothing. That's a problem for me. That's a problem for me. Let's just keep going.
Home overnight a week ago Sunday. The two spoke on a YouTube podcast called Missing Tennessee with Duchess.
And when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Between the hours of, 12.
Did anybody watch this live? And if so, where was the stepfather? She said, when I woke up, let's go back to that again, just a little bit. I don't know if it'll let me go back. Hold on a second. Okay. I think it's right here. But she says, when I, and we know autistic people have schedules and repetitions. So I would have to think that mom would be up at the same time every morning and would be getting her son up around the same time every single morning.
He wasn't here.
Between the hours of, 12 and 6, he has basically vanished.
So they're saying between midnight and 6 a.m., he basically vanished. And the way the father or the stepdad says it, it's just, this is odd. And he's kind of directing. Let's just keep listening.
Walked out of the house, the door was locked and gone.
He didn't take.
The door was locked. What did he mean? See, this is confusing. What did he mean by the door was locked? Was the door locked when he woke up in the morning and he had to unlock it? So he assumes his son had to walk out and lock the door? Or is he saying he locked the door and his son walked out and they know the son walked out because the door was unlocked? You see what I'm saying? Like those are very, very specific details.
phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Authorities have named no suspects and
Whoa!
say
She just said none of his shoes were missing. She just said none of his shoes were missing. So not only did he walk out of the house, now apparently he walked out of the house barefoot. What? Did I hear that correctly? Did I just hear that correct? I need to go back and listen to that. I'm going to shut my mouth and listen to it where she goes, the shoe thing, and then I'll stop it back at the shoe thing. Let me back it up just a little bit more. I want to hear this, I think right here. I want to hear this a little bit more. Let me put this up on the big screen. Let me listen to this section right here.
spoke on a YouTube podcast called Missing Tennessee with Duchess.
And when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Authorities have named no suspects.
So, was he wearing clothes? Are we looking for a naked Sebastian? He doesn't have his phone. He's autistic that loves Minecraft, so he's going to leave the only electronic he can play with at home. And he has no shoes. Some autistic children but no, he's 15. He goes to school. No, because I was going to say some autistic kids, they don't like touching them. So they may not be pebbles, but they were here. They would hear him yelling. Yeah. But he doesn't. But that's another thing, another trait from my understanding about autistic children is not only is their behaviors the same, they like the same types of stuff. So for example, if a kid likes putting on shoes, they're not going to run around barefoot. They just have a weird way of different. I shouldn't say weird, probably offensive. I don't mean to be offensive, but a different, I just don't use the right word sometimes. Different way of thinking. Like for us, for normal people, like we have chores, right? And so for normal people, we would probably be looking at ways to do the chore quicker, easier, maybe try to find a way to avoid doing the chore or something like that, right? Where an autistic kid is taught to do a chore, and they do that chore every single day, probably about the same time every single day, because that's part of their schedule. They don't really even think to try to get out of it or, not do it as good as they were taught. Or, they're very, so if they're to polish something, like they're going to polish something, we might, try to throw it in the dishwasher as opposed to polishing it, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? Like they just don't find ways to get away from, and again, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but that's again, my understanding of the behaviors. It is different, we try to they don't look for ways to get out of things, I guess is the way that autistic children to be very sensory sensitive. Many, for instance, can't tolerate getting their hands dirty. Exactly. So just to think that this boy would walk out of the house without shoes when he's never walked out of the house without shoes before just doesn't seem like, if he walked out of the house, it just doesn't seem like his behavior, because I feel like if he were to walk out of the house, he wouldn't think not to put on his shoes because he's been taught that he can't walk out of his house without shoes and socks. You see, they think differently than we do. They thrive on process. They thrive on process. And again, not spontaneous. They have to have schedules and, a plan. It's not spontaneous. That spontaneous can trigger them and can set out an episode. So it has to be strategic. Their whole life has to be strategic, from my understanding. So now you're telling me that you have an autistic boy that walked out of the house, which is something he doesn't normally do, and didn't put on his shoes, which he doesn't normally do, and didn't take his phone, which he didn't normally do. These are not behaviors of an autistic child, from everything I know of an autistic child. And the fact that they haven't found him in 8 days. So there's that.
And say that to date, the parents have fully cooperated with the investigation.
But have they? Because if they haven't been honest in the investigation, then they haven't been fully cooperating in the investigation.
Now will re-interview and vet everyone that had contact with Sebastian.
So they're re-interviewing everyone. So let me put this into perspective. That means if for any reason law enforcement may have implied that the parents were cleared, they are no longer cleared again, because they have opened an investigation, and that means that everybody is a suspect until they're cleared, because now this is a different type of investigation altogether. And now they're coming out and specifically saying to the public and putting it into the public's mind, which they would not do unless there's been a turn of events. They would never go to the public and say that now they have to look at foul play and put these parents under media and social media scrutiny unless they have no other choice. Because again, they are required to inform the public. So they do have to, we are their bosses. They can't lie. I mean, they can in certain respects, but they can't lie about other respects of cases. It doesn't look good for them. And I think this is one of those things where they had no other choice but to finally acknowledge that this boy most likely is not missing. And now this has to go to a different phase of the investigation. And by saying that, it puts the target squarely on the back of these parents. One or both. Because I'm pretty sure they've already foxholed them into there's no way this is an abduction, because probably statements that both of them made because they decided to come up, they had to make up a story. They don't do this all the time. Their story may have been believable until it's not. And now we're at a different phase of the investigation. And it's like, okay, well, you said the door was locked and there's no forced entry here. So how can it be an abduction? So now they've backed themselves into a corner. Now that we're going to this portion of the investigation, and now law enforcement is saying foul play, unfortunately, the only people with motive, means, and opportunity are his parents. So I expect that house to be, if it hasn't already been forensically combed through, I anticipate that it will be forensically combed through. I'm definitely not autistic. I'm always looking for ways to eliminate chores altogether. Me too. Okay. Yes. I think all of us, but I dump all of my stuff in the living room floor, and I can always tell how lazy I am by how long it takes me to pick it up. I can tell you I have been very lazy, because outside of folding up the comforters that I use in the back seat, I've got my laundry in the middle of my living room. My laundry in the middle of my living room. Still, I didn't even do one load of laundry. You know why? One, I twisted my ankle. So that was my ankle's not hurting too bad. It's a little stiff, but it's manageable. I didn't even have to take ibuprofen or anything. It's a little nag, it's not, you can feel the pressure in the ankle. Like I sprained it a little bit, but it's not a pain that it's like sprained so bad I can't walk. I can walk flat foot on it, and I can walk normally, but it's just, you can feel a little pressure in there, like it's a little swollen, like I, move some stuff around. Okay. I stretched some stuff that hadn't been stretched in a while in that ankle. Right. So that's all it feels like. So I just kind of took it easy yesterday. I didn't really do a whole lot. I had groceries delivered here. So I had snack food. I ate junk food all day yesterday, right? I junk food, like literally junk food. I didn't have a healthy piece of food go in my body. And I laid here and watched TV most of the day. I really actually took a day off. I made a couple of quick little videos just to throw stuff out there so people knew I was still alive. And other than that, that was my day. And so today, the clothes are still there because I woke up late because I was so lazy yesterday. I didn't go to bed until late last night. I think it was like 2:00 in the morning. I was watching TV here. And I woke up at 7:30 with my neighbor down the road mowing my yard. The yard got a little too high. Gotta love my neighbors. I love my neighbors. But I pay him. I do pay him. But I guess he realized it, and I realized he was out of cigarettes. So he made sure he woke me up this morning with the lawnmower so he could get paid, so he could go get some cigarettes. So I got a nicely, freshly mowed yard this morning. And so that's why I came a little bit late. But today I'm going to try to clean that up. But, procrastination. I think we all procrastinate, except if you have a certain disability, right? And then you don't even think of procrastination. You don't even think of procrastination. You just do what you're told to do.
For any inconsistencies, and they are asking the public to provide any Ring camera videos, not just from Sunday night when they believe he disappeared, but of anything suspicious of much earlier in the day. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
All right, guys. Well, that is a clear indicator that this investigation is looking square at the parents. Square at the parents. If they're looking for earlier time than the timeline the parents has provided, then we know what this is. We know what this is. We've seen this before. So this is big movement. This is sounds like within the home. Yep. Oh, Manic Mama, you have no clue. I don't know. Me and you, babe. We might be in competition. We might be in competition. If it's not about like true crime or politics, I will drag my sweet hiney. I will. I'll drag my feet. I'll stomp my feet. I'll procrastinate. But you know what? You give me something that's true crime or political, I jump into that. I'm ready to work. I don't know what it is. I plan on after this month to take VHB to lunch. I'm close to her. We must all go together for some lunch. Oh yeah, guidance is close by. If anybody else, I don't know how close people are. If you're from Florida, I don't want you like doxing yourself or anything like that. But if you're from Florida, put a 1 in the chat. I just want to see. I know I've got like 2 channels running. One has like 70 people on it. Another one has like 120 people on it. So it's the twins. Didn't have a. Oh yeah, I know, right? Right, Manic Mama. My laundry pile is a mountain. My laundry pile is not a mountain. The actual dirty laundry gets washed. Now my clean laundry pile, that's a different story. Me actually folding the clothes and putting them away. I have a little love-hate relationship with that chore. It's not my number one. I'm jumping for joy because I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of clothes. Like because I'm always on the road, I literally in there for those first 2 years, we would be home for like a few days, maybe a week at best. And we were on the road again. So sometimes I would literally have to come home, unpack my suitcase and pack a fresh suitcase. So I've got a ton of clothes. Because there's been times that I literally came home for 2 days, had to throw my dirty clothes on the floor, pack clean clothes, and get in the car and either drive or get in the car and go to the airport. So I just got a mess of clothes over the last, few years because of that. I've been unpacking for months. It took me 2 years to unpack this house. I'm not even embarrassed to say it because it's life. You know, I'm a normal person, and sometimes normal people are just procrastinators, you know, on certain things. You know, it's just me. So it sucks sometimes. I didn't say that out loud. Oh, we're done with that. We're done with that. Okay, guys. Well, that's all I had. It was great for you guys being here. Still got, I haven't gone over, let me just kind of break down what we're going to be doing here because I got to break these channels up. So what we're going to be doing moving forward is I'm going to start running some members only lives on Bullhorn Betty crime stories. We're going to do some member only lives there. It's going to be, I don't expect them to be large lives. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it in the evening or in the afternoon, but I'm thinking kind of evening because I think more people like early evening would work, but we're going to have to get the will of the chat to find out what you guys would prefer. But we're going to do a members only live. We're going to start out with a members only live once a week. And this is just going to be us just kind of having a conversation. It's going to be members only. So you guys are going to direct the lives. I'm not going to really have a whole lot of direction because I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. If we want to keep it true crime or if we just want to have it like a catch up, because this is the time that you guys are members where we can kind of, you know, bond a little bit. So we're going to do a members only live. It's members only. So members can only view it and members can only comment on it. I'm not going to have it where it's public, but members can comment. It's members only. So nobody's going to see it outside of the members of the Crime Stories channel. We're going to do that over there. We're also going to start breaking up our conversations. So I'm noticing that we have, like, here's the list of cases. And this is not even the full list of cases that we are right now in the process of. These are just the newest ones that have been put on the books. And that's Sebastian. We've got Madeline Soto. We got Elijah Vu. We have Laken Riley, Audrey Cunningham. We have Brian Koberger. We have Crystal Rogers. So the list is getting longer and longer and longer, and it's going to be harder and harder to tell. Like even today, I had three or four different stories I wanted to touch on this morning, and we were able to have a discussion of one. So I think I'm going to start breaking these back up by cases, so we can do, like today, I'll change the thumbnail after I make one for Sebastian, and later this afternoon we'll get updated on Madeline Soto. And then we'll figure out when we're going to do our members only live. And we're going to be doing also a different kind of members only live on the main channel. So that's going to be specifically only for true crime. We're going to be kind of taking a dive into true crime. It's going to be members only, but this is for you guys to ask questions or to sometimes I may not think of something. You guys may have read something, and we can have a round table discussion about what we think really is going on and how we can help this, the families, you know. So that's going to be on Bullhorn Betty, and we're going to do that. And that's going to be once a week as well. And it's going to be a round table discussion on a very specific true crime case that we are discussing that is either unsolved or something of that nature. And then, of course, if you guys want to sign up for my political channel, I am also going to be on the 2024 campaign trail for the causes that are near and dear to my heart, and here locally in my own community as well. And I'm going to try to keep it. It's going to dovetail into my stuff. I will tell you that, whether you like it or not. You love me, leave me, hate me. I don't care anymore, right? I'm going to do what I do because it's what I do. It's who I am. And if you're going to love me, you need to love me. You need to love me for who I am. And even if you don't agree with me, if you absolutely hate me, there's nothing I'm going to do that's going to change your mind at this point. So why would I care about your opinion anyways? I don't live my life for other people. I live my life for myself. If you guys want to participate in it, support it, by all means, please do so. But it's still not going to stop me from being me at the end of the day, right? So that's going to be how we go. And then also there's a new case that's been talked about, and I heard about it on Nancy Grace, and it's Danielle Macias. And she ran across this case as she was doing work on the Lake and Riley case. And I was reading through it and they were talking about it. And I thought, you know, what an interesting case it is and whatnot. And so we might be poking our head under the hood of that case too to provide support, because this case has been going on since 2023 and has been gotten very little media or attention to it. And I think it's a very solvable case. And I even reached out to Nancy Grace because I truly believe the answer is not the phone call. When I saw the suspect walking away, there was something about the outfit he was wearing. Many don't know, my cousin is a chef that travels around the world. And I also dated a piece of shit line cook. And I've got to tell you, when I saw this person walking away, what he was wearing looked like something that somebody behind the scenes at a restaurant would wear. Because they're saying that the phone call, the 7-minute phone call that he had prior to being shot from this Sean character was not connected to it at some point. But we had learned that he did recently get off of work and he went to a store. He was buying beer at a store. He received a call, put his stuff down, and walked out. It is my understanding that Sean must have wanted to go out to a bar, and so that's what he did. That's the call for that he left the convenience store or whatever, wherever he went to get the beer. But he left everything there and went on his way. And then he was drinking at a bar around 1:30 in the morning. He decides to walk back to his car. As he's walking, the assailant's coming at him. He's walking toward the assailant, and he doesn't even quite make it to his car before he is shot 5 times, which he was not robbed. And the 5 times is pretty excessive for a situation like that. It felt really personal, and it put a lot of spotlights on the Sean. But I saw the man in black in the surveillance video, and the first thing I thought of was restaurant. He looked like a restaurant employee and what I've seen restaurant employees wear. So I keep wondering if this might have been actually something like a workplace violence or work dispute that went overboard. I guess we'll never know until somebody is ultimately arrested in that case. And again, that's Daniel Macias. And that was near the campus of the University of Georgia campus. It was August 13th, 2023, I believe. She said August 13th. I'm assuming it's 2023, but I assume that in the case with Jose Antonio Ibarra, and we found out that it was 2022. So it is possible that this happened in 2022, but they said, again, just August 13th. So when you say just August 13th, people imply that it was August 13th of the prior year. The most recent August 13th, not 1, 2, or 3 years back. So I'm just telling you guys what I heard and what I read. He was on the phone, so naturally the first question is, who is he on the phone with? Which we did find out. He was on the phone with a friend by the name of Sean. He was at he loves Athens. He was at a bar 3 blocks from the campus around 2:30 a.m. He left the bar and walked to his car. And they also explained like this was all around by the police station, by the jail, by the courthouse. Even when this situation happened, there were witnesses that were a little inebriated. They did give chase to the guy. They saw it happen. They gave chase to the assailant, and the assailant was able to blend in with its environment somehow. Either he ducked into an apartment, he had a car he could easily get into, people were leaving out of the bars, and he was able to kind of get into the crowd and blend in. Something like that happened, because listen to this. This is unheard of. Law enforcement was on ground, boots on the ground, searching for the assailant within 90 seconds. And they couldn't find the guy. And there was 2 people that were chasing this guy down, and this guy slipped away from them. So he was right there. And then that first thing I always think of is if he's near his place of employment, his employment's near this bar, you know, I'd like to know where his employment is in conjunction with this bar. But I'm just saying, for me, the guy in black walking away looked like somebody that I've seen at a restaurant with the black shirt, the black pants. That was the preferred outfit for many of the restaurants here in my own county. Man followed him. He was shot 5 times. He was on a phone call. 911 was immediately called. Leaving the downtown area. So they said that when they were walking away and when the witnesses were chasing him, he was being chased and led away from the downtown area. They said they were 90 seconds behind the shooter, that there's wooded areas, apartments, and people leaving. He vanished amongst the environment. Yeah, they walked towards each other. So it sounds like Daniel and the suspect, again, were walking like they must have met each other face to face. And they said he worked his shift, went to a store, received a phone call. Sean called him, was going to meet him, but then called him and said he couldn't meet him because his headlight was out. The call lasted 7 minutes with Sean. There's a video of the shooter. They didn't connect the phone call with the shooter, so they're basically implying that Sean was not involved. The video of him walking. And when he was walking, like I said, the first thing, and I go by my first gut instincts in a lot of these things. And the first thing I thought of was restaurant when I saw this man in the outfit he was in and the way he was walking. And then I find out that this Daniel guy, if I understand correctly, actually worked at a restaurant of some sort. Did I write that down? Worked his shift. I don't know why I think he worked at a restaurant or something, but I feel like he worked at a restaurant. No updates on Elijah Vu, unfortunately. Actually, I do have some. Hold on here. Where is it? Here we go. So they have a vehicle of interest identified in the search. So that's new information we were unaware of. Let me put this up for you guys, and we'll have to watch a minor commercial, but at least we can see what's going on here. If you want an update, let me see. No, I don't want to. Refresh. Give me just a second, guys.
This is Greenville, South Carolina. We do life differently around here.
I'm going to eat some chips, so you guys are going to hear me crunch. Actually, I'll turn my mic off.
This is the life. This is Greenville. Join us at visitgreenvillesc.com.
Elijah Vu has not been seen since February 20th. 12 News' Kendall Keys has been covering this story since it broke. She joins us tonight. Kendall, today police released pictures of a car they think may be connected to the case.
Patrick, Two Rivers police call it a vehicle of interest in the Elijah Vu case. That car, it's in the hands of detectives tonight. But just hours ago, police put out a new call for help from the public. 2 weeks after Elijah Vu disappeared, Two Rivers police say they now have a vehicle of interest in connection to the case. It's this car, a 1997 beige Nissan Altima, with a license plate that starts with an A and ends with a 0. Police have it in their possession tonight, but detectives now need the public's help finding surveillance video of the car from February 19th between 2 and 9 p.m.
Two to 9 p.m. February 19th. So now they're getting a better timeline, guys. This is not good. They're having a more specific time frame. Wow, that's sad. That means they believe he was gone the night before, the day before. What a shame. Beautiful boy. Beautiful little boy. Look how cute that little boy is. Heartbreaking. Let's just keep listening.
That's the day before Elijah went missing. The 3-year-old had been staying at the home of his mother's boyfriend, Jesse Vang, at this Two Rivers apartment building. Vang called police on February 20th, saying Elijah was missing when he woke up from a nap. Vang and Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, have since been charged with child neglect, but Elijah is still missing. Last week, his family made a tearful plea for help from the public.
To those who may have information, your assistance is just not a contribution, but a lifeline of hope.
Elijah's aunt, Linda Vu, taking part in the search.
There's a large, over here, a large.
A search extending from Two Rivers to a landfill in Calumet County. And most recently, rural Manitowoc County, with the help from the National Guard and volunteers.
I've been here pretty much every day, all day long.
I just want all the volunteers, guys, let's throw them around of, hands, clappy hands in the chat. And just from the Bullhorn Betty channel, we just want to say if there are any volunteers that do watch this or come across this channel, we thank you for your service. We know that you're doing it because you care and it's a passion of love and just wanting the best for this little child. So thank you to all. Thank you to the first responders and everything, but there's also volunteers that are going out there and doing this just to help. They're not getting paid from the state or county or federal government to do so. They're out there breaking their back for, to help free of charge. They're called volunteers. So God bless all of you beautiful volunteers that got up, got off your butts and went out there and was of a service searching for this little boy.
And you're going to keep doing it?
You bet I am.
God bless you.
You bet I am. We still have hope.
Well, Kendall, back to that car for a moment. Police did not say who it belongs to.
I asked police if it belonged to Elijah's mother or her boyfriend, or if they identified someone else who may be connected to Elijah's case, but police have not responded tonight.
Kendall.
That means because it belongs to them. They would have quickly said it does not belong to either parent if it didn't belong to either parent. And I say parent meaning that I understand Jesse Vang is not married to her, is just her boyfriend. But just in the factor of speaking, they were both parental figures in this boy's life. It's easier for me just to call them the parents. If it really bothers you that bad, that it's not accurate, that it is her mom's boyfriend, is his mom's boyfriend, fine, whatever. It is what it is. Get over it. You're not going to change me.
Keys in the newsroom tonight, Kendall.
Okay. So we're done with that. So that is basically what we have for it. But I do believe it's because somebody told us that the mom did get a beater. We're probably going to find out that this is because she had a minivan that was a beater. It was a 2005 Town and Country or something like that. It was falling apart, but it was a non-starter because she had lost that car like a week before Elijah Vu went missing. But we also heard that she got another crappy car. So this could be Jesse Vang's car because where he was seen was at an interlock device place to put it in, from my understanding, an interlock device in the vehicle. So that could have been the vehicle he was putting the interlock device in when we saw him and Elijah in that store, that shop. Let's see if there's anything else here. Vehicle of interest. Let's see if we got any more information. But it seems like something that they would drive. I mean, they're not from a lot of money. So they don't have a lot of money. She's on disability, whatever. So it's either hers or his. So anyways, guys, that's the updates. We'll go back and cover the rest of the cases throughout the day. I will be back and forth. I'm going to be running certain cases on one channel and certain cases on another channel. So you're going to want to pay attention. If it's a case that you like, you're going to want to pay attention to what channel it's going to be on. I love each and every one of you. God bless. Don't forget, I am now starting my political channels. It is BHB for President on TikTok and Bullhorn Betty for President on YouTube. If you'd like to go and show me some support, we're going to be taking the 2024 elections very, very seriously this year. We are going to talk about unity items. We're going to talk about things that matter to all of us. We're not going to be talking about wedge issues. We're not going to be, I mean, in all fairness, I could care less about stupid stuff that only affects one sector of our country. I am looking for better housing, better cars, better lifestyles, better education, a better future. I'm not into all the BS, okay? I don't care about the drama politics, okay? Cry me a river and build me a bridge with the millions of problems. We all have problems. Get in line, okay? I'm not sitting here trying to say, oh, because I have this, I want this. No, we need to be dealing with things that affect each and every one of us. The roads affect all of us. Taxes affect all of us. Medical affects all of us. Our homeless population affects all of us. Our veteran policies, they affect all of us. These are the people that fight for us to have the life that we have. These are the things I care about. I don't care about, all the other bullshit politics. Okay. And I'm not going to get in there. I'm not going to try to disparage anybody, but I don't care about all the identity shit. Okay. I don't care about the cancel shit. I don't care about the political correctness shit. I don't care about any of that shit. I care about the crap that matters to all of us. And so if that's something that you'd like to support as we go into this, we're going to have, I'm not sure where the channel is going to go, but we're going to have a lot of people on it this year. We're going to have people on both sides of the aisle. We're going to have, we're going to be talking about real life things that matter to all of us, not just some of us, not just some of us. So if those things matter to you, support those channels and support me as I build those channels. That again, BHB for President on TikTok and Bullhorn Betty for President here on YouTube. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for all your love and support on the True Crime channel and just allowing me to be me and bring my content to you the way I want to, the way I can bring it to you. And I feel like I bring it to you like nobody else can. There's no other Bullhorn Betty out there, right? So you love me or you hate me. It doesn't matter. I'm unique and I love it. And I will continue to defy odds. I will continue to make my own path. I will continue to live my life and love it and hopefully help a few people along the way. So God bless each and every one of you. And we will be back later today. Even though I'm coming bedside, we are not done. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of cases to go over. So stick around. Don't forget to sub up on all the channels so you never miss your fave, me, Bullhorn Betty. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.